Is compound interest working for you or against you? Let's learn together. Hello, welcome back. My name is Bruno, and today we're going to talk about a very important topic in compounding interest, all right? Compounding can be applied in multiple ways, all right? Of course, the best way to look at compound interest is going to be on your hard-earned dollars. You know me, all right? I love talking about money. I love discussing this topic because it's just second nature to me. But look at this. You could apply compound interest in multiple avenues. In your faith, reading, workout, singing, skill, business, anything you want to do that has a time frame, you can apply compound interest to it. And we're going to look at how that actually, how you can do that in different avenues. But today, let's actually focus on how compounding can either improve or deprove. I don't know if that is the word, but I'm going to use it. How compound interest can work for you or against you, all right? Now, Albert Einstein has this great quote when it comes to compounding. He said that it is the eighth wonder of the world, all right? If you understand how compounding works, you're going to earn it. But if you don't, you're going to pay it. So today we're going to figure out, are you on the losing end of compound interest or you're on the winning end of compound interest? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to how you choose to grow your money. The last time we looked at the rule of 72, which is still a great formula that Albert Einstein came out with, that estimates how long your money takes to grow. We looked at all that. It was amazing. But today, let's take it a step further and look at how your money actually works over time. How does that rule of 72 affect your money over time? How does your dollars go from a small amount to a significantly larger amount over time? All right? Compound interest. Now, we can't start talking about compound interest without actually looking at interest in general. Interest is basically, to the most basic way I can put it, is anything you earn on your investment, all right? Anything extra you earn as a return. So if you invested $100 and you made a profit of $10, $10 is your interest, all right? What is tacked onto the money you invested or you deposited. So the rate of return, of course, definitely matters, but what we're looking at today is what actually adds to it. Now, there are two ways you can look at this. There is simple interest, and then there is compound interest. Simple interest is one that most financial institutions are used to. So if you have a credit, if you're using a credit union or a bank, your money is probably, I'm not saying it is, I'm saying probably growing on simple interest. Of course, we can look at the different ways that money grows, fixed, variable, and index. I'm not going to get into that today. That is going to be a topic for another day. Today, look at this. If we look at simple interest, so we're going to assume that we have an investment of $10,000. $10,000, we're going to choose to either grow our money on simple interest, which is what most of us are doing with the traditional banking system. This is what most banks are going to credit you. Then we're going to look at how you can earn compound interest or how it actually works. Now, as the rates of return are here, I'm running these illustrations at 0.1%, which from the video we saw the other day on with most financial institutions, you would be lucky if you even get a 0.1% rate of return. Honestly, there are some of these institutions that will only credit you 0.09%, which is less than 0.1%, all right? Then we're going to look at simple interest at 10%, and then we're going to compare that with compound interest at 10%, all right? Now look at this. If every single year, this is how simple interest works. Every single year, your financial institution or the person you lent your money to is only going to credit you based on the original investment or the original deposit, all right? So the first year, 0.1% of $10,000 is $10. $10. So your interest, of course, is $10. So the first year, you're going to have $10,000 plus your $10 right there. The second year, 10% of your original deposit. You see, they keep going back to what you deposited from the get-go, what you put in. So if we still take 0.1% of that, it's another $10. So every single year you're making $10. So by the third year, you're at $30. 10 years in, you're at $100, all right? 20 years in, you're $200. By 40 years, you have made about $400 in profit. So if you put in $10,000 in a portfolio, it doesn't matter where the portfolio is, and all you're making is simple interest, and whatever rate of return that is, could be 2%, could be 5%, could be 0.0 whatever percent it is, you can do the math and see how long it would take you to double your money, or how long it takes you to make a particular profit or interest, all right? Now, simple interest at a higher rate of return, but it's still your money growing at a higher rate of return in a simple interest portfolio. In this example, we're using the same $10,000 invested or deposited in an account that gives you 10% rate of return. So you notice that every year, 10% of 1,000 is 10% of 10,000 is $1,000. So you see that every single year you're making $1,000 more, right? $1,000 more. So by 10 years in, you have doubled your money. All right, you have doubled your money. Now, 20 years in, there you go. 30 years, by 40 years, you have about $50,000 in there. Now, you can double check my math. My math may not be accurate. All right, I think it is. We want to double check it if you will. Now, look at this. Compound interest works in the direct, I don't even want to say opposite, because it would be this. I will be doing compound interest a disfavor if I just say it's the opposite of simple interest. No. It's way better than that. Right? The reason why Albert Einstein, even Albert, is mind blown by how compounding works. So look at this. The way you're credited in a compound interest portfolio is that your original deposit of $10,000 plus the interest you've made is what is used to calculate your next interest. All right. So it's interest plus the principal. So the first year, 10% of 10,000, you notice that it's 1,000. So these two people are the same in the first year. The first year are exactly the same. But look at what happens from the second year. Now we're going to look at 10% of $11,000. 10% of $11,000 gives us $12,100. Now here you don't even see a significant difference. It's just $100 more. It's just $100 more than here. So it doesn't really make sense, right? Now give it more time. The third year, we're going to look at 10% of $12,100. And that now brings us to $13,310. All right, now the math starts getting crazy. If we keep doing this for 10 years, now you start seeing a lot of difference. Now we have 25,900 and some change. Now it's about 5,000 and some change difference from if you were just doing it with simple interest. Compound that for 20 years, you can see the difference, 67,200 and some change. For 30 years, look at that. $174,000, $174,000 and some change. Now, comparatively, $300, $40,000, $174,000. All right, look at that. And then you keep the math going, compounding your money. $10,000 compounded over 40 years, you're at $400, over almost $500,000. You're at $452,000 and some change. Now, I just want to assume that everyone out there wants to see their money do this. Imagine if you could deposit $10,000 in a portfolio. It doesn't matter what portfolio that is. If you could deposit $10,000 and just let it sit there, and then the math does this to your money, I think everyone would be happy to do this. You would better plan for your retirement if you knew that your money was compounded. Let's say you are 30 years old right now. If you're 30 years old, and you plan to retire at 70. Let me assume you plan to retire at 70, all right? So by 70 years old, if you just deposited $10,000 today, in a portfolio that gives you 10% rate of return, of course, that will be guaranteed, assuming that it is guaranteed, that you're earning 10% every single year, compounded over 40 years. These are the numbers. You would expect to make about $452,000 40 years from now. That's amazing. That's a winning proposition if you ask me. Now, you want to be asking yourself, is my money growing on simple interest or on compound interest? Because then, you can relate to this. Now, whatever dollar amount you have must not be 10,000, could be 2,000, could be 1,000, could be 100,000 or a million, doesn't matter. Where you have your money growing is gonna dictate how much you end up with. All right. Now we can start diving into taxes and all whatnot. I'm going to do that on a different episode. But the power of compounding, not just interest at all, the power of compounding, or the concept of compounding, can be applied in multiple avenues. All right, could be applied on your money, which we just saw. Could be applied with your faith. All right, if you intend to be more prayerful, more spiritual, more close to God, and all of that. It all starts by the first step: acknowledgement. Talk to your spiritual director, your pastor, your priest, your whoever, your imam, whoever you want to talk to. Read the Bible constantly, slowly, listen to gospel music or whatever you're doing. All it takes is, or what matters is that you keep doing the thing over and over and over again. And the assumption is over time, you're going to keep getting better and better and better. All right. The same thing, if you like reading, if you want to start reading, coming from a person who at some point I lived under the level I don't like reading. I used that statement so long until I started, understanding what that statement alone did to my subconscious mind. Because I keep repeating the word, I don't like reading, my subconscious mind, assumed that it is truth. And so each time I picked up a book to read, I would immediately go to sleep, right? It just sent me straight to sleep. So I became bored with reading. But guess what? When I read this book right here, I'm going to recommend it. It's called The Compound Effect. The Compound Effect, written by Darren Hardy. The Compound Effect. And basically, it taught me how you can start building new habits. How you can start building new habits by doing the bare minimum every day consistently for a long period of time. All right. And all it took was that every night, just pick up a book and read one page. Don't stretch it. Don't stretch. Just pick up a book and read one page. Just one page. Don't go to two. All right. Read one page until you can read a page without really thinking about it. Then you can flip. And now you're reading 2 pages. And now you slowly read 5 pages. And before you know it, you're reading 10 pages. And over time, you discover that you can sit and read a whole chapter without blinking. And then over time, give it a couple of weeks, couple of months. If you keep doing the same process, over time, you're going to be able to read a book in a week. And then slowly you can read a book in a couple of days. All right. It takes time. Just like you see here. It takes time to build those habits. Same thing with workout. Workout is a continuous process. You can't start working out today and expect to have a six-pack tomorrow. I've been trying to have my six-pack for the longest time possible, but it's a continuous effort. Every single day you gotta do the reps. That's why when you start a work, that's why a lot of people fail, myself included, for so many times when they try to incorporate work, exercise into their routine. Because what happens is, we are driven by results. We want to see results. As human beings, you want to be able to do something and see the improvements over time, right? Because look at this. If you start saving your money and you're not seeing a high rate of return, at some point you're going to it's useless saving my money. The same thing that happens when you start a workout exercise. When you go to the gym, or you're running out, or you're exercising, you expect to see some changes. You expect to see some muscles coming up and the belly fat boiling away. But what happens after a week? You don't see any change. After 1 month, nothing significant. All right. After 2 months, maybe you start seeing some changes. Maybe some. After 3 months, though, maybe. After 6 months, it's inevitable that you're going to see change. After a year, oh yes, the change is 100% physical. Everyone can see it. All right. But it takes time to build, and that is the patience that most people don't have. That is the compound effect. Singing, the same thing. If you want to learn a new skill, you don't just wake up tomorrow and learn how to play the piano. It doesn't happen like that. You got to start from learning 1 key, then 2 keys, then 3 keys, then whatever, however the process is, it takes time to learn. All right. It's the compound effect. I'm going to learn one thing today, come tomorrow, learn another thing, plus the one I've learned, and just keep compounding and learning those skills over time. The same thing, of course, in business. It says that the more experience you have, the better you get. All right. The more years you have in business, the better you get. So, the best thing for you to do is start, because time is not on your side. Time is not on your side. So compound interest is something we can take the whole day to talk on, but it comes down to this. Compound interest can either work for you or against you. So looking at this, you're looking at your hard-earned dollars, the money you've spent so much time, overtime, and and all whatnot, double shifts, 2 jobs, or however you earn your money, and you've made your hard-earned money. The $1 million question comes down to, where is your money sitting? How is it growing for you? Is it working for you or against you? Because guess what? If you have a school loan, most school loans grow by compound interest. The reason why you've been trying to pay down that school loan for so long and the balance is either staying the same or increasing is because the interest is outgrowing how much you're contributing. The reason why your credit card is growing faster or increasing over time, and you're wondering, why is my credit card increasing when I'm making the minimum payments? Why is this not reducing? It's because guess what? The bank is charging you compound interest because your credit card company is charging you compound interest. All right. So every single month you don't pay off that balance on your credit card. Guess what? It compounds on you. And the crazy part is your credit cards grow at a rate of maybe 19%. All right. This is just 10%. Imagine this is only 10%, but your credit card company is charging you about 19%, upwards to about, I know there are some credit cards that are almost 30%. Can you imagine that for a second? Let's leave it at 25%. So imagine if you have a $1,000 credit card that you've not paid off, and every single month you don't pay it up. You keep making the $25 or $40 minimum payment, but it's growing at 25%. You plug in the numbers and see how fast your $1,000 is going to skyrocket over time if you keep ignoring it. All right, I'm no saint, right? I've been on that side. All right, I've paid my fair share of interest to credit card companies. All right, but when you're paying it from a place of knowledge, right, it's different. Rather than wonder why your credit card keeps increasing and you not realizing what is actually going on in the back end. If you have a school loan growing by compound interest, a mortgage is one thing that I would simulate to compound interest, because you can buy a house with $300,000, and over time, if you calculate how much you are actually paying in terms of mortgage payments for the next 30 years, you're going to discover you're paying over double, if not triple, how much you bought the house for. All right. I'm not saying your mortgage grows by compound interest. I'm saying that the growth could be simulated to compound interest, because of course not all the money you pay as a mortgage goes towards the principal. All right. There are other taxes and all whatnot, insurance and all included. But the thing is, you borrow this, but by the time you finish paying it off, the money that comes out of your pocket is almost double or maybe triple that amount. That could be simulated to compounding interest. All right. So if you're going to pay compound interest by default in school loans, in some car loans, in credit cards, in mortgages, you've got to find a way to earn compound interest. Your money should be working for you. All right. So it's a matter of figuring out which portfolio can grow your money on compound interest, and which portfolio can grow your money using the most tax efficient method, not just compound interest. All right. Because if at the end of the day we can make $452,000 and end up paying 30% of that to the IRS, then to me it's a losing proposition. To me anyway. All right. I don't know about you, but I want to make sure that if I'm growing $452,000, it should be in a portfolio where I pay the least taxes possible. If possible, no tax at all. All right. I want to be able to grow my money and enjoy it without having to worry about taxes, and of course growing it above inflation and all whatnot. All right. There's a lot we can cover. If you found value in this, share it, like it, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep learning together. Of course, join me on this journey. And if you're curious about investigating or finding out which portfolios can grow your money on compound interest, reach out to me, text me, call me. All right, let's sit down, let's have a one-on-one, and let's figure out how to make your hard-earned dollars work for you. Thank you so much, and see you on the next one.